You've decided that you're ready for your very first horse. You got everything in place, you have a boarding room picked out, you have lessons that you've been taking, you are ready for this. So now what? Hi guys, Reagan from Horse Crazy Mama here. If you are interested in learning how to purchase your very first horse by following somebody who's purchasing their very first horse, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell and don't miss a single video. This is 5 questions to ask yourself when you're purchasing your very first horse. Question number 1. How experienced of a rider are you? So you've been riding for a little while now. The question is, for how long? Has it been a year, 2 years, 10 years? This is going to help you determine the age and the training level of the horse that you want to purchase. For example, I've been professionally showing for about 2 years. However, my trainer usually stuck me on the more difficult horses. And I also have a mother-in-law and a sister-in-law who have worked with difficult horses almost their entire lives. So I would be okay in choosing a horse who may not be quite as trained as, say, a horse who was 20 years old, as long as I wasn't stupid and took the advice of my mother and sister-in-law. However, if I were just barely beginning or I wasn't quite sure which direction I wanted to go on a horse, I would definitely look for something that was a little bit older, a little bit more experienced, and a little bit more beginner friendly. I also know my own limitations in that I will not get a brand new Greenbroke horse or a horse that hasn't even been ridden before. Question number 2. What temperament do you prefer? There are 3 different temperaments in the equestrian world: hot, warm, and cold. You got your cold horses who are much more easygoing. They're slow, steady, chill for the most part, but they can't usually do the more intense sports such as jumping or cross country. A safe bet if you're preferring to do a more intense sport, or if you're wanting a horse who has a little bit more pep in their step, I would go for a warm blood, especially for a beginner. They can have a little bit of an attitude, but not so much to the point where they're completely unmanageable. If you're looking for a real challenge, you can always go for a hot-blooded horse. Don't go for this unless you're experienced, you're familiar with the personality, and you are passionate about these horses. I am very passionate about thoroughbreds. I think they are absolutely incredible. I've seen a lot of people raise these horses from off the track and adopt them and nurture them into new sports. And that is exactly what I'm wanting to do. But if I wasn't familiar with that, or if I didn't have the connections and the support system that I have right now, I wouldn't touch them. The third question you want to ask yourself is, what are you going to be doing with the horse? Probably should have put that one first now that I think of it. But if you're going to be driving, then you should be totally fine taking on a draft or another cold-blooded horse that's easygoing and slow. If you're doing dressage, or if you're doing reining, or if you're doing cattle work, or if you're doing jumping, or any other sport that's a little bit more competitive, other than competitive driving, I think, that's going to help you determine what kind of horse you are wanting to purchase. Of course, there are always ponies and minis that you can choose from, but that's like a whole different show ring, I think. Question number 4 is kind of a personal one. How tall are you? This isn't to say that tall people can't ride smaller horses, although if you're 6 foot and you're riding a miniature, you might want to rethink that idea. Or on the flip side, if you're shorter, you can't ride a Clydesdale. I'm not saying that at all. However, if you're going into a certain kind of sport or competition, judges are going to look at how well the team pair up. And knowing exactly how high your horse is and how tall you are and how well you guys mesh together is going to be very important and very helpful on your journey towards success. Of course, if you're just getting the horse for pleasure, doesn't matter. The final question is when you are actually starting to try out horses. Now that you've determined what temperament you want your horse to be, how high you want your horse to be, what discipline you want your horse to be trained in, and what level of experience you want the horse to have, it's now time to start trying out horses. When you do this, it's going to be really easy to be swept away because there are a lot of really cute horses out there. And there are a lot of really well-trained horses out there. And there are a lot of really not well-trained horses out there. The thing is to always ask yourself this question: how confident am I with this horse? Because if you are not confident with that horse, the horse is going to be able to sense it, and that relationship may get a little rocky down the road. Now I want Rocky Road ice cream. Getting a horse and wanting to go down a competitive trail or having a pleasure ride is teamwork. And having a team that is unbalanced isn't going to help at all. So make sure that you feel comfortable and confident on that horse, and that you feel like the horse is comfortable and confident with you. And usually, regardless of any of the other determining factors, you're going to be A-okay. If you have already purchased your first horse, go ahead and comment below what your process was, what your thoughts were. And be sure to help out everybody else who's coming to this video who's looking for ways to determine which first horse is right for them. If you found these tips helpful in any kind of way, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And be sure to leave a big thumbs up to let me know that you loved it. Keep the crazy and horse crazy, y'all. See you next time. If you're slow going and easy. So did I miss anything? Go ahead and comment below if you have gotten. Why do I always cough during these things? What was I gonna say? Or a cold-blooded horse of other that's slow going and easy. Dang it.